Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and we got a crazy video today. I mean, this is gonna take, I don't know how long this is gonna take. Honestly, the main thing I'm gonna be doing today is we're gonna be talking about every single hero in Dota. Every single hero, and ranking them from A to B to C tier to D tier, E tier, all the way to F tier. We got a couple of heroes in F, a few in A that are the real standouts of today's video, and then of course a ton of heroes in B, C, D, and E. And yeah, we're gonna rank every single hero so you can check obviously where your hero is and just get a general gist on what the current Dota meta is. Now keep in mind, I would like to say that I'm largely basing this off pubs. There is some competitive bias that obviously exists in my brain, but I really tried my best while making this list to tailor it to your average pub, anywhere from 1 to 6k MMR, right? Instead of focusing on your average 10k MMR professional match. So without further ado, let's talk about the best and worst heroes of Dota. And now I want to tell you guys a little bit about DOTA Plus from Overwolf. This is a free stats app you guys can download right now that's going to show you your stats for the last 3 months. So if you want to know your games played, your MMR, your win rate, your XPM, your GPM, all of these things you need to track to know how well you're doing and what you need to change to gain MMR, you can get for absolutely free. On top of that, the biggest reason why you need to download DOTA Plus, at least for me, is the ban suggestions. Basically, it tells you what the enemy team is good at. It tells you their best heroes, what they've been winning with. You just ban it. You might be wondering why your good heroes, why your best heroes keep getting banned. It's because of DOTA Plus. The enemy team is using it and banning out your best heroes. So go download DOTA Plus right now, and I'll see you guys there. All right, starting off with the A tier, the best heroes in Dota. And I didn't rank the heroes in particular because I don't necessarily think there is like one best hero in Dota. Honestly, if I had to pick one, I would say it's probably Silencer, and we'll talk about him. But even then, like, there's counters to Silencer, right? There's heroes such as Lycan. I mean, even though Silencer can beat Lycan in lane, there's heroes that make Silencer feel bad, right? So at the end of the day, what I want you guys to keep in mind as I go through every hero on the tier list is even if a hero is the A tier, it doesn't mean that you're gonna automatically win if you choose them. Neither if you pick the F tier heroes, the heroes that are the worst. Yeah, you have a much worse chance of winning, but if situationally they're good, situationally they're good. That's the beauty of Dota. And so yeah, let's talk about A now. So the first hero is Legion Commander. I'm a big fan of Legion Commander in pubs because honestly, I think she has mostly good matchups. The only real bad matchup of Legion Commander that I've actually done fine in multiple times is Monkey King and Ursa. And really, I mean that. Both of these heroes are pretty laneable for Legion Commander. Like, honestly, I've done fine basically every single time. So really, not too much to worry about when it comes to the laning stage. Now, what makes Legion Commander a really, really good mid-game hero right now? Honestly, I think it's primarily the buff to her level 10 talent, the cast range of Duel, and the bonus duration 1 second buff to Blade Mail on its duration that really make this hero much, much better. So if you're looking for a well-rounded offlaner that is basically good every single game, can be second phase picked, and is going to be able to snowball and carry matches if you don't trust your teammates as well, then Legion Commander is probably your best bet with the bonus 8 damage per duel at level 10 talent and with the cast range buff to Duel, making it way easier to get on top of the target you want to. The next hero for the A list is Naga Siren. Honestly, Naga has been buffed over and over and over again, and one of my favorite items in Dota in Bloodthorn is arguably best on Naga Siren compared to like any other hero. I'm not going to talk exactly about why. If you want to hear that, maybe I'll make a Naga video. But honestly, this hero has like no bad matchups in lane. You might be like, oh, what about Timbersaw? And what about Pudge? Even these heroes can struggle against Naga in lane. I literally don't think there is a single hero that like easily beats Naga. Obviously, it depends on the support matchups. And yeah, for instance, something like Axe can do well against Naga. I'm not, he's gonna rush a Vanguard and do okay, but you're not gonna dominate her. You're just not. Because for instance, in the Axe versus Naga matchup, you can dispel Battle Hunger very easily if you want to do that. You don't have to send the illusions at Axe at all, right? That's an option. You could just send it at the Skywrath mage that Axe is laning with. And so Naga has a lot of options. The hero, once again, has been buffed over and over and over again. She has one of the best Ags in the game that you can get from Roshan. She has one of the best shards in the game you can get from Roshan. I think Manta's just a good item right now. I think her Ags, honestly, in use, is straight up nutty. I think Bloodthorn, building from Orchid, which is a great item for carries, and Mage Slayer, which is a great item for carries, being the components for Naga, and she loves both of them, is insanely good. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just a huge fan of this hero, and I would definitely recommend it if you're a carry player to learn it. It takes some practice, but I think it's top tier right now. Next is Undying. I actually think Undying is best as an offlaner right now. Personally, I have this build that I think is straight up broken on the hero. I'll tell you what it is. It's Soul Ring into Mana Boots, after Mana Boots, Wand, and Raindrops. From there, you buy Drums and then Holy Locket, and you max Decay and then Soul Rip with no points in Tombstone. Holy Locket plus Soul Rip at level 9, which is when you'll have it maxed out, is a broken timing, and you don't lose like any lanes. I can't stress how good I think this build is. Then is Bounty Hunter. I just made a video on this hero, so if you want to check that out, you could go check it out. But as an offlaner, I think this hero once again loses like no lanes. It can lane basically anything, and it can dominate certain matchups as well. And then in terms of its mid-game tempo, this hero's ability to pop off when it gets Ags is really impressive, and I see it doing well at all levels right now. Then we have Slark. I think he matches up well against a lot of the popular offlaners because, like, honestly, heroes like Razor and Viper and Death Prophet that can all kick him out of lane aren't great. Like, DP is pretty good, but even then, that doesn't necessarily counter Slark that hard, and DP in pubs is just not good. People are not good enough to play it. So, yeah, Slark, his Ags is crazy. I think the build every game should basically be Echo into Disassemble Echo into Ags, or just Echo into Ags. Sometimes I think Falcon Blade Diffusal into Ags is pretty good as well. That's an interesting build. I think the Falcon Blade is a little bit better of an early timing on the hero, which is why that build's cool. And Diffusal Blade is still great on the hero. But yeah, Slark Ags, so good. Slark Shard, so good. Well-rounded hero right now. Got buffed in the lane very significantly, which is a big thing for this hero. And so I'm really a big fan of Slark. Also, if you get Oculate Bracelet, that item is insane. Then we have Clinks. Honestly, in the pro scene, not a huge fan of Clinks. Kind of abusable in the early game, but honestly, even at a high level, I've been seeing it do okay. I don't mean in pro games, but in like pubs, I've seen it own. And then in your average pub, man, this is a top tier carry, hands down. Hands down. It flash farms like a madman. It can split push dangerous waves like crazy. People don't buy detection, and then it just has some of the craziest mid to late game timings in Dota. Gleipnir plus level 15 Clinks is a menace to society. Then we have Sniper. I know, this is my hottest take of the video. Sniper A tier. All I'm gonna say is I think mid Sniper is really good. I'm just saying it now. I think he dominates the lane. He scales really well. I personally think he has good matchups in the meta overall. I'm a fan of Sniper. I really think in pubs this hero is really, really good. You can say what you want, but I'm a big fan. Then we have Silencer. A lot of buffs recently. Honestly, I didn't think this hero was good until like very recently. Its win rate has skyrocketed. I've personally seen it played multiple times. It's miserable to play against. It honestly feels great when I'm playing with it. I've even played it as an offlaner. Did I make that a video? Yeah, I made it a video for the website. I did a Silencer offlane guide, and it felt great as well. So if you're looking for a support to pick, just pick Silencer. Like if you don't know what to pick, just pick Silencer and skill your Q and your W at level 1 and level 2, and then just punch them in the lane and you'll own. And then finally is Visage. Honestly, I thought this hero wasn't as good after the nerfs, but it's still kind of owning and kind of owns. Like, it's just a good hero, man. I don't even want to say it. I feel like I've talked about this hero so much in my like recent tier list videos where I'm like sick of talking about it, but it doesn't really get it. Its bad laning stage doesn't get punished as hard in your average pub, and then you just like scale like a beast, you know, because you buy auras as DPS. So you show up to a team fight and you're the only player in your bracket who's actually buying aura items and not having 900 max HP because you've bought a Deso Mana Boots on Ricky. And then you show up to the fight with Drums Wraith Pact, and you actually own the fight, guaranteed. And that's all for the A list. Now let's move on to B. Those are my top tier heroes. If you disagree with any of them or think anything should be an A, feel free to comment it down below. On B, we're starting with Beastmaster. Did that intentionally. Okay. Beastmaster, honestly, maybe a little bit of competitive bias here because I think most people can't play Beastmaster, but if you get it down, really good vision hero, solid laner, just overall well-rounded. I think it fits well with the tempo of the meta as well, and if it gets ahead, it just dominates. Axe, huge fan of Axe right now. I was Axe hater until recently. I think Axe Skywrath is nasty as a combo in lane and in game. And this hero seems to be doing really, really well. Like, it's got a 52% win rate overall. The Battle Hunger level 1, I literally watched, I just made a video. I made a video for the website, on my second channel. For Axe, I watched Collapse's Axe, and he beat a Monkey King in lane, which is like crazy, because in my head, that's like the only matchup that should easily beat Axe. Maybe Drow's pretty bad as well. You could probably beat Drow though. If you, yeah, with the right heroes, you could beat Drow. Big fan of this hero, I think it scales well. Its shard is really good too. Then we have Clockwork, just a well-rounded hero, honestly. As a position 4, I'm just a Clock fan. I think if you don't know what to pick and you need an initiator, it's just a good hero. It gives vision, it scouts, it initiates, it's a solid laner, it secures runes really well. Like, it just kind of does everything pretty well. So I think it's a top-tier hero overall. Then we have Huskar. A little bit cheesy, but I think there's a lot of synergy with Huskar and a lot of the popular heroes. I think Huskar Silencer is a really good lane. I think Huskar Undying is a great combo. Huskar Legion is a good combo. Huskar Visage and playing Deathball is a cool combo. There's like Huskar Omni. Omni's a pretty good hero right now. So there's a lot of ways to kind of enable this like Deathball Huskar in my opinion. And I think the hero is just solid. It's been buffed quite a lot. And I've just seen it do well in my pubs. So maybe I'm biased, but I really like the hero. Then we have Leshrac. A little bit difficult to play, but I just made a video on Game Leap about it. Some of you guys saw that. And the Bloodstone build is nuts. If you haven't played it, I recommend you try it. It feels great, very powerful. Definitely a B tier hero for me, especially because it does well in the lane, which is really important for mid laners right now. Then we have Lycan. Maybe once again a little bit of competitive bias here, but if you get good at Lycan, it's just still a top tier hero in the current meta. I think Howl working at night is just insane, being global at night. I think the shard on Lycan in pubs is like straight up broken, and so yeah. Then Marcy is in the B tier. It's really funny because this hero has been nerfed a million times in a row. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's gonna kill you at level 6. It's gonna 3-tap you in the freaking late game. You're just gonna get annihilated. Like literally, I watch a support Marcy just 2-tap some core in the late game. I'm like, what is this, dude? Is this hero a support or a core? I can't tell because it's literally killing the mid laner alone. And that is just how it goes. You can have Brown Boots BKB and you're gonna solo kill someone and there's nothing they can do about it. Then we have Omni Knight, great position 5 hero. If your team needs a dispel or you just want to play a safe hero, Omni Knight's the way to go right now. Then we have Primal Beast, one of the most consistent initiators of the offlane, great laner, overall well-rounded hero. Does fall off late game, but well-rounded hero, definitely something you guys should learn. Takes some practice, but is good. Then we have Skywrath, not an insane win rate, but honestly, I think it's personally the best like explosion position 4 hero right now. Other heroes would be like Hoodwink or Techies. I personally think Skywrath is the best right now. Great laner, great mid game, synergizes well with a lot of the top heroes. Great with Beastmaster, great with Axe, great with Primal, great with Pudge, which is actually the next hero. So Pudge, honestly, just good. Especially if you get it in the right game, it's just GG, man. Like, for instance, Naga, I think that hero is pretty unstoppable, except against Pudge. That matchup's pretty good for Pudge. No matter what the stage of the game is, Pudge counters Naga. He buys Ags, Shivas, both counter Naga. It's like, in the right game, Pudge is just straight up ownage. If he gets the right matchups, Flesh Heap is still broken, and there's not much to say about that. Then we have Animage. I know this is kind of a weird one for B tier, but the hero's been buffed a lot recently. The Q being a 25% slow when you burn their mana at level 1 is kind of nutty. I see this hero winning the lane for the most part. As long as you don't overextend early on and you just chip them down with your Q, you'll probably do well in the lane. And then, I don't know, it is Animage at the end of the day, and the hero like is so garbage mid-game, but it hits its timings. Personally, I've seen it been buffed a ton and do well, so I think it's a pretty decent hero. Now, the exact opposite of Animage is Ricky. This hero got a smokescreen buff recently and is a good pub hero, so it's in the B tier. Then we have Arc Warden, which scales well. That's all I have to say. Look up the Arc Warden magic damage build and scale. Then we have Drow Ranger. This hero hits really hard right now and also recently got buffed on its multi-shot. So personally, I'm a big Drow fan. I actually really like this hero. I think Drow Silencer is a comically fun lane because both of you can take Frost Arrows and then Glaives, and you can stand behind the creep wave. And if someone tries to get a CS, like if there's a melee hero, they can't lane because they walk up for a CS and then they just get hit by these abilities that don't draw creep aggro. It's really funny. So that lane is pretty comical and actually very strong. So I would definitely keep that lane or combo in mind. It's quite funny and actually very good. Then we have Ember. I think for a lot of the initiating mids, he's probably the best. Maybe Pango from a competitive stance is better, but for pubs, I think Ember's the way to go. He scales well, a little bit hard to play, so honestly, that's why the hero typically has a bad win rate, but I'm personally a fan of it in pubs if you practice it enough. Then we have Faceless Void. It's just like Faceless Void. You got nerfed recently, but you're probably gonna do fine in your lane. And then if the game goes late game, you're gonna win. Next up is Mirana. On the note of like the bursty-ish position 4 heroes, I think Mirana's probably the second best or the best with Skywrath. And it's a little bit different than Skywrath because like you're more of a stunner, more of like a team fighter, you know what I mean? So in terms of like more well-rounded position 4s, I would say Mirana's the best in the game right now. Compared to the other heroes like Shaman or Hoodwink, I would pick Mirana over those heroes most games. Personally, I think the hero is very good. The Starstorm and Leap buffs are quite good. Then we have Morphling. Hero got a lot of buffs. It's just good right now. The Axe is broken. And then we have Nyx Assassin. For all the initiating position 4s outside of Clockwork, honestly, in the right games, Nyx is way better than Clockwork. It just depends. You're a worse laner than Clock, but your mid to late game is way better. So, yeah, Nyx in the right game, I would say it's the best initiator right now for pubs. I would 100% pick Nyx over Tiny or Spirit Shaker, any of these heroes. Then we have Invoker. Honestly, I like Exort Invoker. I think it wins mid in a lot of matchups, as long as you use Forge Spirits correctly, and then it helps the side lanes without actually having to roam, which is pretty important, because if you can sit mid and deny flag bearers, and then help the side lanes by sunstriking, you're gonna really have a lot of impact. Then we have Jakiro. In terms of position 5s, just a well-rounded position 5 hero. It's always the case. It's always good in pubs. Jakiro's win rate has always been high, and it's good right now. Like, I think the hero is good. Not like special, but it's good. Just if you don't know what to pick and you're a 5 player, like if you're some safe lane player who likes to farm and you don't know what to play and you have to get some role queue games because, you know, like you have to do that occasionally, just pick Jakiro. Then we have Ancient Apparition. I just love AA. Maybe I'm too big of a fan of AA, and I don't even necessarily think it counters a lot of the top tier heroes, I'll be real. It definitely doesn't, but I don't know, man. I'm such an AA fan. I love AA. I don't even know why I'm hyping it up so much, but I personally think Ice Vortex in the right game is insane with like Punch Carry. I think Ice Blast is always just good. It just is. Like, for instance, against Omni, it's just so freaking good, man. Then we have Techies up there with Skywrath and Mirana. Just a good nuker. Nothing special, but just well-rounded nuker, good laner, overall solid hero. Getting into the C tier, we have Lich, good laner, Lina. Honestly, Lina could be higher, but people kind of grief with it in pubs because you don't farm enough. You don't farm enough. It's so good if you hit your timings and you position well, but people don't farm enough. They don't know how to itemize it, and they just run out of mana. Then we have Witch Doctor, good support. I think Maledict and Death Ward are in a great place. Don't take the heal. I really don't like the heal build. I wish they left the heal alone. I loved old Witch Doctor heal. Then we have Zeus. It does a lot of magic damage and it scales well. Shadow Fiend wins mid, but is hard to play. Gyrocopter. Love this hero as a position 4 and 5. Don't like it as a carry. I think it does a lot of damage with the shard. So go it as a support. Buy Veil, buy Shard, and cast your nukes. Then we have Hoodwink. Not as good as Mirana, Skyrath, or Techies in my opinion, but still a solid hero that is not bad if you want to play it. Juggernaut. It's Juggernaut. It definitely belongs in the C tier because it's Juggernaut. Tinker. Honestly, Tinker's fine. I've seen a lot of people own with it if you're a Tinker spammer, but if you're not a Tinker spammer, don't pick it. Weaver. Well-rounded carry, honestly, beats like Beastmaster in lane really hard, so it has some good matchups. Definitely has some good matchups, but kind of struggles against the likes of like Legion Commander and Naga. It's like pretty horrible against Naga. Don't think it's very good against Slark. Don't think it's good against Silencer. It has some problems, but it does counter something like Visage, for instance, kind of. So, yeah, it's an interesting hero. Then we have Lone Druid. Honestly, I would have liked to put this hero higher, but I don't see it that much, even though I think it's quite good. It's kind of surprising. This hero has potential. Luna, good creep hitter, good with Visage. like broken with Visage actually in my opinion, but nothing special. Medusa, if it has the right matchups, it's Medusa. If it's a game where it looks like a good Timber game, it's probably also like a good Medusa game in a lot of cases. And so right game, right time, Medusa. On that same note is Meepo. This hero's Ags is really good. Honestly, I think Meepo's kind of broken in pubs, at least at really low levels. If you get down the farming patterns and take Roche, I think Meepo's kind of nutty. Then we have Bloodseeker. Got nerfed a bunch, but is still like situationally really good against the right heroes. You guys know who I'm talking about, the Slarks, the Weavers. You know, it still kind of counters these heroes, so. Disruptor. Like his Axe, I like that Glimpse does damage. Kind of a big fan of this hero, considered putting it in the B tier. So it's a top tier C, I'd say. I'm a big fan of Disruptor, but it doesn't do anything that special. But it does do a lot of damage, actually a lot of damage. Enchantress, situationally really good, counters the unit heroes, and hard to play though. So maybe it should be D tier actually. Then we have Elder Titan. Honestly, hard hero to play, but really strong with the right team comps, especially if you have a lot of magic damage or the enemy has high armor agi heroes, you can kind of dominate them with your natural order and your ultimate, so situationally really strong. Then we have Shaker, wouldn't pick it over Nyx in pubs. Then we have Chen. Used to put Chen way higher, and honestly you could argue it's a B tier hero still with the rushing of mech. It is still really good, but most people can't play it, so you gotta play it a little bit before it's a B tier hero. Then we have Crystal Maiden. She's fine. Dark Willow, good hero, nothing crazy, right? It's Dark Willow. I think it's good with Axe. It's pretty good with Legion. It's a bit clunky with Legion because like even Axe is a bit clunky. You don't really want to blink or go on the people they go on. It's like a good combo with Mars, but I don't like Mars at all. So yeah, not a huge fan. I think Willow's just fine. She's just fine. Then we have Sven on another subject of a hero that's fine. Situationally, if Sven has the right matchups, good carry. It's good. His level 15 talent's really strong. Spectre is Spectre. It scales late game. really well. And the Blade Mail build might be the future. Blade Mail Manta Ags or something like that is the build. I can see that being good. Then we have Dawnbreaker. The Ags on support Dawnbreaker situationally is broken. Really big fan of the Holy Locket Ags build or just Ags Rush. Honestly think Mad Boots Ags is the way to go on Dawnbreaker. Honestly, the Holy Locket's pretty reasonable only because like it's really cheap if you're already buying Mana Boots, which you should, and you can get it really quickly because your hero farms fast. It's good to kind of ulti on someone and then Holy Locket them to save them. It is really good, so I kind of like that build. And then Axe. After that, we have Troll Warlord. Nothing special. It's Pierce's BKB on its Q though. We have Ursa. Nothing special. Honestly, maybe it could be lower. Bristleback, situationally really good if the enemy team is mostly physical damage or as a unit hero because then it kind of counters them really hard. Warlock is well-rounded, but that's it. Centaur, honestly could be B tier, somehow wins pubs probably because it dominates the laning stage pretty hard in a lot of matchups. Definitely a good laner, don't buy the Ags, it's definitely not good. Chaos Knight, this hero got nerfed a lot, but it's still okay in the right situations, especially if they don't have AoE damage. OD, I have no idea what to say about this hero, but apparently the win rate's decent. Alchemist, it can farm, but it got nerfed a bunch, but it still can farm. Phantom Lancer, 50% win rate hero, decent carry, situationally really good if they don't have the answers to, illusion. Pangolier, would have liked to put this hero higher, arguably should be lower for pubs, maybe D tier, but honestly, I think this hero is very good if you understand what it does and the job it fulfills, but most people just can't execute on it well. Then we have Io. I thought Io would be better than it is, but it's gotten nerfed so much. Nature's Prophet. Requires spamming, maybe I'm biased, but I think this hero's good right now. That's all I'm gonna say. The base attack time buff was huge. Lifestealer. It clicks, it got a buff to Feast, which I thought would make the hero better, and that's why I'm putting it in C tier. I think the Feast buff it got recently was really notable. Then we have Venge. Love Venge Shard. If you can get to Shard, then Axe, this hero has really strong timings. Just kind of a bad laner. Then we have Night Stalker, situationally really good. I don't think it really counters a lot of the meta heroes though. So if it was still like the puck meta, maybe it would be higher up. Slaughter, this hero could be B tier. It actually wins a lot. It got buffed so much, so it's kind of good, but Tidehunter, it's Tidehunter. The Shard's good. Shaman, it's the last hero of the C tier. It helps you take Roshan. It's a good laner, very well-rounded hero, but nothing too special right now. D tier, Lion, just pick Shaman. Razor, situationally good against Troll Warlord. Enigma, definitely higher, but it got nerfed really hard recently. maybe you could argue it's a C tier hero. In the pro scene, it's been an A tier hero for a while. So maybe D is a little bit too low, I'll be honest. Probably should be in C. Whatever, let's move on. It's still a black hole bot in the late game. It wins the late game. Wraith King. I think there's better carries. It kind of doesn't do anything special. I really like the skeleton talents. Take the skeleton talents and maybe it's a C tier hero. Terrain Protector. Situationally really good against physical damage heroes and comps. Timbersaw. I don't know, man. They nerf reactive way too hard in my opinion. Doom. It's good, but I don't know. For some reason, it just doesn't do well in pubs. I don't even know why, honestly. Maybe it's just like too inconsistent and people doom the wrong heroes. Kunkka, I really don't. Honestly, it's situationally a good hero, but it falls off way too hard for it to be good in pubs. And I think it's mechanically difficult. Don't pick it. Same thing with Magnus. It's situationally very cool, but too hard mechanically to really make work. It's like, I don't know, it's so clunky in the mid game. Don't pick it. Mars, just pick like Axe, dude. I don't know, just pick Axe. Axe is not the same hero as Mars at all, but I don't know, just pick Axe. Rubik, you better spam this hero if you're gonna pick it. Sand King, pick a different initiator. Just pick some other initiator. I don't know, man. Pick some other initiator. Snapfire. Honestly, I think this hero should be like C tier, but for some reason people can't land Cookie. And then like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's because it doesn't scale well. I think that's the thing. This hero's pretty bad in like late game team fights and people just probably don't know how to wait out BKBs, you know what I mean? So it just does nothing in the late game then. And the Cookie's hard to land, so yeah, I wouldn't pick Snapfire if I was you. Even though it's kind of good, it just requires too much like game knowledge to make it good, so don't pick it. Then we have Windranger. Honestly, I don't know what this hero does better than others, but it's not horrible. Wyvern. Counters BKB heroes and like Beastmaster. But they nerfed the Q way too hard recently. DK, Pickaxe, Necrophos. I don't know, man. I don't know. The shard's good. It helps you one-shot waves, but like kind of dies a lot in the lane. Kind of. If you don't die in the lane, it's like weird in the mid game, but it's like fine. It's fine. Terrorblade. Pick Naga. Naga's not even the same hero as TB, but like TB is just, if you're gonna learn an illusion hero right now, learn Naga. Don't spend your time on TB. TB is generally a good hero and at a competitive level is still fine, but it's way too hard. TB is way too hard. If you're one of those people who likes to jerk off to playing hard heroes, okay, fine, learn TB. But man, don't just pick Naga. TB's fine. Batrider. Good competitively, bad in pubs because people don't know how to play it. And don't know how to wait for BKB, and don't know how to click the buttons well enough. Void Spirit, just pick Ember Spirit or Pango. Ogre, got nerfed way too hard. Try to pick Undying or Omni Knight, even though it's not the same thing as Omni Knight. Just, I don't know, try to pick Undying. That's what I would recommend. Storm Spirit, pick one of the other initiators, honestly. Runs out of mana too easily. I think competitively it can be okay, but you have to pair it with the right heroes to enable it, so too situational. Just pick like Pango or Ember, something like that. Then we have Oracle, pick Omni Knight. Puck, got nerfed a lot, mechanically really difficult, bad in pubs, always is bad in pubs, loses the lane to a lot of heroes really hard, so, and relied on the small camp in a lot of matchups, just not a fan of Puck, especially not in pubs. Queen, same thing with Puck, it's just hard. Like, I don't know, man, it's like really difficult to play a good Queen of Pain mid game, and I think that's the problem, people just feed with it. So, especially against like the Silencer hero, it's so bad, it's so bad, it's so hard to play. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Just wouldn't recommend picking Queen of Pain right now. I don't know, pick like Lina or something like that. Then we have Pugna. I don't know what this hero does better than other heroes. It's like, it got nerfed too much. I really don't like that. It's one of my favorite heroes, but it just doesn't do anything special right now. It got nerfed just everywhere. TA. Also another hero that got nerfed too hard. Bane. I don't even think Bane's that bad, but for some reason it doesn't seem to win pubs ever. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it's because they just nerfed all of its spells like a lot over time. That's probably about it. PA. I used to love PA and then they like giga nerfed it. It was really weird. It was good and then they nerfed it really hard, really fast. And now it just loses pubs. Earth Spirit. Just pick a different initiator. It's way too hard. Tiny. This hero's been nerfed at least 38 times in the last 2 months, so you're probably better off picking Nyx Assassin, and it's really hard as well. And don't pick it as the core, it got nerfed a bunch as well. Brewmaster, mechanically really difficult. It doesn't really even pay off if you learn it. They nerfed the Axe. Honestly, the current Brew Axe is really cool, and like if you're really, really talented, it's like kind of good, but I don't know, man. Brew's a weird-ass hero. It's a weird-ass hero. Underlord. Honestly, this hero's win rate's pretty decent, which shocked me when I saw it. So maybe it shouldn't be E tier. I don't know. It's like this hero is, to be fair, Underlord has always had a high win rate. Like, its win rate, maybe it's because people buy auras and they like group up, and then it's like good in these like low skill team fights where everyone just clumps up and doesn't have any HP, and then like doesn't like when people have auras. I don't know. I think that's about it. DP, not that bad of a hero, but way too hard for people to play. I'm telling you, just pick a different, I don't know. There's not a lot of good range heroes right now, but if you're gonna learn a hard range hero, I would suggest Nature's Prophet personally. Not very similar to DP, actually. That was a bad recommendation. I'll keep it real, but I don't know. Maybe you should learn Enigma. That's probably a better one, honestly. That's a better suggestion. And then we have Abaddon, pick Omni Knight, but situationally is actually better because it's a lower cooldown Dispel, but I don't know, man. Like, if they pick DK Mirana, maybe you can pick, like, Abaddon. And now for the F-tier heroes, we have Shadow Demon. I literally never see this hero. It, like, theoretically is good in some games. It's like, oh, it dispels Yulz's, and dispels Warcry, and dispels Jingu, and dispels, Decrepify and Ghost Shroud. And it makes really strong illusions, and it, like, reflects damage and can solo kill people. Shadow Demon can do everything, but somehow it's way too hard and doesn't actually end up doing anything. And that's Shadow Demon in a nutshell. Broodmother, pick a different unit hero. I thought this hero's shard would be good, and it recently got buffed by a lot, the HP regen and webs. So I thought Brood would be good, but I don't know, people can't seem to make it work. I think this hero has potential, even though I'm putting it in the F tier. And the reason why is I'm basing it off what I think is good right now in pubs, without having to figure it out in like 10 or 20 games of gameplay. So yeah, probably should just pick Beastmaster if you're gonna pick one of these types of heroes, even though it's not even that similar to Brood in a lot of ways. Then we have Monkey King. Honestly, situationally really good, but you gotta be last picking it, and then it's so mechanically, like in terms of carries, Monkey King is so mechanically hard, because if you don't know how to dominate the lane, and you don't dominate the lane when you counter pick, it's not gonna feel like a good hero. It doesn't farm that fast. It's not tanky. Its ulti is like the hardest ability in the game to use if you're not good. It dies in side lanes. Like, it needs an early BKB. Jingu's a weird ability, you know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily scale that well. So it's a hard hero. It's a really hard hero. If you counter pick like Legion Commander or something, maybe it can be okay. You know what I mean? But just struggles right now. I wouldn't pick it over most carries. I just wouldn't. I'd probably pick like Ursa or Naga every day of the week. Just, I don't know. Then we have Veno. I don't care what you say. Don't pick Veno. I don't care. Even if it's fine because it scales well. I don't know, dude. If you are going to argue to me that the shard is good, die. Then we have Viper. This hero's been nerfed way too much. Honestly, I don't think it scales well. I think it has some decent matchups, but like, you have to last pick Viper in pubs, and it's been nerfed to the ground. So it's like some last pick niche hero, but it got nerfed way too hard. Like, way too hard. So I just, even though it has its timings, it just got nerfed. I know I'm saying the same thing over and over again. It's just like, dude, the Q mana, the W duration, wasn't there something else? The Q slow. It's like, geez, dude, everything got nerfed about this hero. So I don't know. I don't see it winning, and I don't recommend learning it. Then we have Coddle. I have literally no idea what this hero does good ever since they nerfed the ulti by 20 seconds. It's like, I thought it would be okay because of the talent or whatever, or they gave this hero some slight buff when they nerfed the ulti cooldown by 20 seconds, but it was clearly not enough to make it good because I never see this hero and its win rate is terrible at 45%. And finally is Grimstroke. This hero is never good in pubs. It used on release, it was like the most broken hero in the game. I guess that's every hero on release, but it was so good. And now it's like it has the same problem as Snapfire, but it's like even worse because at least you know your ulti is not good unless you have a ton of synergy. Your E is not good unless you have a ton of synergy. Your W is a weird ass spell. Your Q is like hard to use. Everything is hard about this hero. Everything is hard about this hero, and it's not that good. So it's like really hard, really not that good, really requires a lot of synergy. Your teammates aren't going to pay attention to the fact that you pick Grimstroke and pick around it. So don't pick Grimstroke. Don't trust your teammates. And don't lose your pubs. But right, that's going to be the end of today's video. How long was that? That was like 30-something minutes. If you stayed to the end. Honestly, I know people are going to comment even if they skip to the end. But if you skipped or stayed to the end, comment barbecue chips in the comment section down below. No one's going to understand why you've commented barbecue chips in the comment section on a tier list Dota video, but you'll understand. It's because I asked you to, and you're a big fan of the Game League YouTube channel. But all right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, and you agree with me, smash the like button. If you disagree with me, smash the like button. Don't smash the dislike button. Now people are gonna smash the dislike button. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm gonna end the video. I'm getting really tired. I'm gonna keep it real. I've been speaking for 36 minutes straight, spewing out knowledge about the Dota heroes. Hopefully you enjoyed these tier list videos. If you do, subscribe to the channel as well. I'll be making more videos like this very, very soon, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.